Welcome to the After Ascension podcast, episode 3. I just want to say, first of all, thank you all for listening to the first two episodes. If you are new, I hope you enjoy and go back and listen if you feel the urge to do so. So it's really nice to have the ball rolling on this podcast, and to be in episode 3 already is a big accomplishment for me. I originally came up with the idea for this podcast way back in December. So I was at a really low point. I had gone to sleep the night before thinking, okay, I'm going to do something. I'm going to have this idea tomorrow and I'm going to capitalize on it. So I went to bed, woke up that morning, and I felt really crappy. And that made me upset because I wanted to be inspired. I wanted to feel the need to create something and accomplish something. So I kind of threw a fit. I had it out with my guides and my higher self. I really went off on them. Then, immediately after I had calmed down, the idea came to me very clearly, and pretty much immediately. And then the funny thing is, after that happened, I sat down and sort of thought about what I had just gone through, and I realized it wasn't really a frustration that I was expressing. It was more of a self-worth type of situation, and self-worth and confidence and little things like that I've always struggled with. And I feel like I was in a position where those doubts and illusions about myself had taken over to the point where I couldn't shed that skin. So what I did is I got so hot and so heated that I blew those barriers away from me. And then immediately after that, the clarity came in on what I can do to move forward in a more productive, creative way. And that's exactly what I decided to do. I decided right then and there that this wasn't just some idea that was going to come in the moment and disappear. I decided that it was done, that it was taken care of, and that no matter what I needed to do going forward, no matter how patient I had to be, that this was going to come together for me. And it did. And now throughout my day, I am getting downloads, getting information and feedback, and I'm genuinely excited to share my experience and contribute to your experience. And that's a responsibility that I take very seriously, and it's something I'm really proud to do. And being in the position to share is something that's familiar with me. Little story here. When I first woke up in 2010, I originally started a YouTube channel and I was making videos and I was sharing a lot of things, and I had probably gone 12 to 15 episodes and I was feeling really, really on top of things. Um, Inspiration overflowing, um, completely fulfilled. But one day I woke up to make a video, logged onto YouTube, and everything I had done was gone. And after that, I just kind of sat there in disbelief that I felt like my life work had been destroyed. So I still had the original raw files on my computer, but it felt I had been building up all this momentum, and I had put all this effort into creating something, and for it to just be gone without explanation, without solution, that was really something that hit me hard. And I did move on from that. I did persevere through that, and I started publishing and sharing again. And then I ran into another roadblock, which was self-inflicted, but I was managing this company at the time, and some employees had discovered that I was making these videos, and instead of standing firm in what I was saying and trusting and believing in myself and what I was doing, I kind of retreated back away. And I wasted a lot of time judging myself for that. Looking back now, it's just sort of something I had to grow from, to learn from, and I knew eventually at some point I would come out the other side stronger than before. And that's exactly what's happened. So the point I'm trying to get to, I know that a lot of light workers and old souls out there struggle with self-worth, struggle with knowing their value. And I just want to say, if you are learning and growing, whatever the growing pain is, whatever the learning experience is, don't judge yourself for having to learn that. I think some of you out there struggle with the idea of being at a starting position and not already being perfect and fluent at whatever it is you're trying to learn or whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. But know that once you set your mind to something and once you decide that I'm going to do this, it's already done, then your support system's going to come forward and you are going to start to develop really quickly. And that's one of the benefits of being here in the new energy, is that the way forward is much clearer and you will start to benefit from the past life skills and energies that belong to you that are now ready to come forward and manifest in your reality without all this karma blocking that manifestation. And all you really have to do is get things in motion. And then from there, it's just a matter of trusting your team to clear the way forward for you. And I think the chances are that you have something in mind that you want to be doing. You have a kind of a snapshot of where this thing is going for you. What I'm saying to you now is, why wait? Put one foot in front of the other. Do something small today. Do something small every day. And then this ball is going to get rolling for you, and the way forward is going to be much clearer. And you're going to start to build the confidence that you need to accomplish whatever it is you're trying to do. So, whatever it is, know that you're supported. Know that Spirit and your team is already on board with what you're trying to do. And chances are that the little snapshot you have in your head, that little vision of inspiration that's been given however long ago, that originated from them. So come up with a plan. Don't force things. Don't rush things. Don't judge yourself for not being perfectly fluent at whatever it is you're attempting to do. But put forth the effort every day to learn, to get better and improve. And pretty soon that mastery is going to come forward for you. Because that's why the Akashic Records even exist. So why not take advantage of that? And you already know you're going to find yourself in the right place at the right time. So the only thing that's required of you is to just take those initial steps. And that's the hardest part. Because being afraid of doing something only exists in the pre-stages of whatever it is you're trying to do. Once you move past that, it's gone. It's not an issue. And I hope you realize that. Anyway, I put out a post on my Modern Galaxy YouTube channel about the increase in synchronicities that I'm experiencing, and that I was sure at the time others were experiencing the same things. And sure enough, the feedback was really overwhelming that yes, people are seeing a lot of increase in the synchronicity that they're experiencing throughout the day. You know, the little things Spirit does to nudge you that, hey, don't forget about us. So right now I just kind of wanted to go into detail about what that is and how to take advantage of this increase in communication between you and your team. But first, a little story, sort of a personal example of exactly what I'm talking about. Right now I have a day job. I work for Young Living. If you're not familiar with them, it's a good company. Go look them up. But I get to work. If you're like me, the beginning of the day is always the hardest. I am not a fan of mornings at all, and I know a lot of you out there aren't. So I was already grumpy. I was not feeling very good at the time. I get to work, and everything was off on the wrong foot to begin with. And I feel like my spirit team at that time knew I needed a nudge to say, hey, get yourself together. So I get to work, and the first thing I have to do is grab a scan gun, which a lot of you are familiar with. The gun I grabbed that morning is number 111, so I'm like, all right, you guys, it's early. Thank you, though. So my job is to audit inventory and to sort of gauge what is needed for the production line. First thing I do is go upstairs and see what's needed. And someone had left a note on a pallet. They always have to sign when it is that they are doing whatever action it is. And they write in really bold, clear letters that they were doing this task at 11:10. So this happens in the period of 30 seconds. So it was really cool. So I'm like, all right, thank you guys. Thank you for the intuition to walk to this specific location to see this note. Because that's not always somewhere I need to be. I just kind of autonomously walked there through the inspiration to do so. So I'm like, okay, I'm feeling a little better now. Thank you guys. So I'm looking at the inventory and I'm trying to decide what to audit. And I pick a location and I go there. And the written in really bold numbers on the first pallet I walk to is 11:11. I don't really know why that was written there. The locations I go to and the items that I have to deal with, it had nothing really to do with the product or the location it was at. It was just kind of really interesting. So I'm like, cool. Thank you guys. I feel a lot better. And I continue to do my task and I move forward. So at that point, I had to then grab a cart to grab some product to audit. So I go and grab a cart, and someone had scratched in the number 11 on that cart. So there were some really major synchronicities going on that day. And it came at a time when I needed the extra nudge. And what they did was allowed me to move forward in that day, walking hand in hand with them, which is something I always try to do anyway, but it's not always something that can be maintained. So I've given them the task of giving me that nudge if I'm ever at a point where I need to remember. And instead of that whole day being a waste, they were able to get my attention early so that I could move forward and exist in a positive energy instead of a negative one. And I know a lot of you out there, because of that post, are having similar experiences. It's not just a little nudge here and there. It is a cluster of synchronicities that are happening all at once and way more frequently. It's really exciting, and if you're in that position where your spirit team can grab your attention and can take you to little locations without your conscious knowingness just to show you a number, that's a big accomplishment. Be proud of yourself for that. You should be proud of the fact that all this work, all this grind that we've kind of been enduring is paying off in a greater connection between you and your team. However, with that being said, the key is to recognize this little nudge that they give you when it has nothing to do with numbers. Because your spirit team is going to be tapping you on the shoulder to get you to recognize when to go to certain locations, when to take action, when to capitalize on opportunity, when you've met someone who's important to your story. There's a lot of little things intuitively that are going to be fed to you that you need to be able to recognize what that is. Because really, seeing numbers is cool and really fulfilling and all. But ultimately, their goal is to train you on how to recognize that feeling when that intuition does come in. So, my idea that I have for you that I want to relay is the next time you get that random urge to grab your phone to check the time or whatever it is, your eyes will automatically move to a certain thing and you'll see a number. Go back and analyze and remember what that initial urge felt like. Don't just see the number and go like, hey, haha, thank you guys, whatever. Really stop to think and analyze what that urge was like, because you can gain so much in just recognizing what that little moment is. Once you do this, once you are fluent in recognizing this little intuitive nudge, you're going to see that it goes way beyond just recognizing numbers or picking up your phone at 11:11. And you're going to realize what they've been doing this entire time is just activating your internal compass. And once you're able to speak that language energetically, you're going to get flooded with notifications from your guides and your angels. And that's something that is so invaluable, because it's going to no longer be just you walking around in this suit of flesh. It's going to be your whole team participating in real time, no matter what it is you're trying to accomplish. It's a team effort. So what this increased synchronicity means is that the veil around you has thinned so much that you're activating the ability to communicate and get feedback from your team in real time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So congratulations on all the hard work paying off for you. And I'm excited that you are able to have this experience, because it really is, every time you get a notification from your team, it's like the first time every time, and it's really special. So congratulations. All right, so I have more to say, I have more to share with you, but apparently one of the main goals of this podcast is to create more financial abundance for when our little one arrives, and he is due to enter this earth on at the end of March, and we're really excited. I'm not sure how it's still that far off, because I feel like my wife has been pregnant for so long. We're really excited for this little guy to get here, so thank you very much for your patience. My wife and I tried and tried for years to get pregnant, and we had no success. We had a miscarriage, and we kind of felt at some point that maybe this wasn't going to happen for us, which was really hard to swallow, because we love children, we love kids, and we really wanted to have this experience with our own. So every day is a miracle for us, and we're really embracing and living every moment, and so excited for this little guy to get here. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little nervous. I think every new parent is, and we're well equipped to deal with this. Our hearts are just really full every day, knowing that we're about to have this little bundle of joy into our lives. So moving on, I had an experience. I wanted to just relay what that experience was and how maybe you can accomplish this on your own. And it has to do with cellular communication. And I know if you're a fan of Cryon, which probably most of you listening are, is something that's really important, and most likely you've already been working on it. But anyways, I'm all about talking to my body. I'm all about giving my body instructions and information, and kind of treating it like a total separate entity. But I've never really had a response come back until recently, and I just want to quickly relay to you how I accomplished that. Anyway, I like to start communicating with my body and giving affirmations right at the beginning of my meditations. And a little while ago, I decided to try something different. I sat down for my meditation, and for about an hour, was working on keeping my mind still and getting into a space of coherence that I needed to be in order to have a breakthrough. So I'm laying in bed, about an hour has passed, and instead of speaking to my body directly, I decided to address the innate. I gave the innate instructions to say hello to my body. I said, "Innate, please say hello to my cellular structure." And what I got in return was just like Cryon described. I felt like every hair on my body stood up, and I immediately started to choke up. And it was a really special experience. It's something I'll remember for the rest of my life, and it was exactly how Cryon described. And after that experience, I really was changed. I really felt like I threw the switch, and I was able to let it sink in that all these different parts of me came together to create this experience of oneness. And this experience came after listening to a cryon channeling that spoke about the innate. So I was then able to absorb this information and apply it to my everyday life. In return, I got the results I was looking for. And that moment actually became a really important milestone on my path because it was the accumulation and the payoff of a lot of trial and error. So if you're out there looking for a similar type of breakthrough, really pay attention to what state of mind you're in when you're giving your affirmations or when you're attempting that communication. Because you need to be in the state of mind where you can silence the chatter and get into a state of coherence that's going to allow your team to come forward and influence the energy that you're in right then. And that's something that can take a lot of training and a lot of discipline. But wherever you're at on your journey, I would encourage you to try to initiate the same experience because you truly will leave that space differently. Anyway, that's my little advice on how to accomplish that. Hopefully, it works for you as it did for me. For right now, I'm going to conclude this episode, and I just want to say thank you for joining me. Thank you for contributing your energy to this space. I just want to quickly relay some of the segments I'm going to be including going forward. I know a lot of you are fans of source messages, so I'm going to start breaking down and sharing some source messages and kind of expanding and giving more details about what they mean. I'm also going to be including some cryon clips and discussing how to apply the lessons given there to your everyday life. And I'm also going to start a segment called Lightworkers Speak. That's going to be, Lightworkers are going to be sending me short, maybe 1 or 2 minute messages through the Anchor app or through my email directly, giving a little bit of information about their experience and what Ascension means to them, maybe what it means to be a light worker. So that's something I'm looking forward to. It may be a little bit of time to get people to contribute. So if you're someone who wants to do that, go ahead and see my email in the description. I've also got my PayPal link if you want to contribute financially. It's going to help us moving forward to sustain this podcast and to be able to justify the time that we're spending making the episodes. So once again, thank you for being here, and hopefully you leave with a clearer vision of who you are and why you came here. And so it is, my family. Goodbye.